Let's do a little prospecting today. So, I sent those two orders that you saw me do the prep on. I sent those off to PSA, and I kind of realized that I had a bunch of cards that I was considering to include for inclusion in those orders at the $18 per card level, and I chose not to for two reasons. I chose not to include these for two reasons. Number one, I forgot. I couldn't find them. I didn't know what box they were in. I was like, whatever. All right, I got to get the order out. It's time sensitive, right? But then I was like, all right, these things are sort of like if we're doing some prospecting, right? I don't know if I want to necessarily send these things off to grading right away. Let's see if some of the theories prove out, and and then make a decision. So when I'm looking at these guys, so I have a bunch of cards here that I'm probably ruining right now from one player who I think is poised for, I'm going to say a breakout, but to be really recognized as one of the top players in the NHL. And then I have two guys here who I started buying some of their stuff, and I'm sort of regretting, but we'll talk through them anyway. The perils of prospecting, right? You could when you're trying to I don't prospect a lot, right, when it comes to players in the NHL, but every year I like to grab, I like to select like a player or two or three players to focus on, ones that I think are kind of under the radar and can have a really good year with their current team, or under the radar that I think will maybe move to a bigger market. So you've seen a bit of Jonathan Huberdeau in the past on this channel. I think before a week ago, I was still very high on him, right, in terms of having, he just finished like 115 points, and Florida has most of their core together, so I was expecting another good year, and then he got traded to Calgary. Now, he signed a long-term deal there, so he's, as a rule, I don't typically like to buy players in Calgary because they're generally forgotten. I had bought a bunch of Johnny Gaudreau stuff thinking that he would end up somewhere else. He went from Calgary to Columbus. I don't know if that's much better, but this is Jonathan Huberdeau, Seismic Gold. These things are numbered to 50. I like the cards. I'm not buying any more of his stuff because I think he's probably maxed out on his value. Now, he might come out and have, another phenomenal year and capture the imagination of collectors, but I'm guessing that might not be the case. Player number two, who I started buying some Dougie Hamilton stuff, not necessarily as a prospecting thing for this year, right? But just thinking of the next few years with him leading the Devils, who are, in my opinion, a team that's kind of rising. They're doing a lot of good things. A lot of their players are developing well. It's probably better to be a Devils fan than it is to be an Islanders fan right now as far as the future holds. But Dougie Hamilton, I think, is going to cement himself in like the top 5 in the NHL as an offensive defenseman. If you watched him play at all last year, this is another one of these Seismic Goals. Is this the same year? No, different year. This one's from 2020-21, again, numbered out of 50. If you watched him play last year, he shoots the puck constantly. And I think at some level, with that level of offense and aggression, it's going to come through, and his reputation is going to continue to rise. Before we get into this gentleman, I'd like to talk to you about the perils of prospecting. I'll take you back. Let's go back into in the time machine. 1992, I believe. I would say a young Chris Cassaro, although I was 22 at that time, I guess. Maybe it wasn't 22. 1992. I think maybe it was 89. I'll double check and I'll put the note in the bottom. The bottom line is Scott LaChance was drafted by the Islanders as a defenseman. I think the 3rd pick in the draft, and I had seen Stu Barnes play for the Winnipeg Jets once, and I was sort of blown away. I thought he had 50 goal potential. So in that upper deck cards that year, I bought easily probably about 120 Scott LaChances. I know I bought a lot of 50 Stu Barnes at one point. And if you guys have ever, if you know who Scott LaChances, Stu Barnes are, put it in the comments, because I'm pretty sure 97% of you don't. And that's the perils of prospecting. So whatever money you put in that just went to the toilet. It would have been better to just throw it out, throw it in the garbage. I was positive that Scott LaChance was going to be second to only Dennis Potvin in the Islanders' history record books, and I thought Stu Barnes would have a couple of 50-goal seasons under his belt. Giant whiffs on both of them. But let's go here. Let's talk a little bit about Kyle Connor. I'll put some stats up on the screen here, but Kyle Connor plays for the Winnipeg Jets. He is... I think he had 44 goals last year, and he remains one of the best under the radar players in the NHL, in my opinion, right? He is an absolute sniper. He's over the, I think he was it was the top 5 or 6 in goals last year. I think this year he's going to have his first 50-goal season, and he's going to really gain a lot of attention in Winnipeg, because I think Winnipeg is going to be a surprise team this year. So when looking at, once I arrive at a player, right, I like to focus on some of the cards that are generally numbered. I don't typically go by the young guns in hockey, because I just find them overpriced. And I don't know if that's going to continue like into the future, indefinitely. Like when I look at if you go to try to get a PSA 10 card of any young gun, right, of any player of any stature, to me it just seems absurd, right? Because these things aren't rare, right? You can get them all over the place, and yes, they are inserts, but they're not rare. So I like to go for these, some of these O-Pee-Chee cards, right, that are produced in limited quantity. Here's an Emerald Surge from 2020-21 of Kyle Connor. Emerald Surge, they're numbered to 10. So I've got one of this year, an Emerald Surge of 2018-19. Again, numbered to 10. They can be had relatively reasonably, and then it's also easy to pick up these Seismic Golds, which are numbered to 50. I have a few others in here that I thought were interesting. A Metal Universe from 2020-21. As well as O-Pee-Chee from 2019-20. What are these things even called? I forget. I'm so excited about them, I forget what the hell the cards are called. But Kyle Connor is somebody that I think you need to watch out for. And I'm still buying his card, so don't compete with me. Hopefully we don't make this market tougher to deal with. But who are you prospecting on? Whether it's the NHL or any other sport. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. I'll see you soon.